Hey guys, welcome back here. This is Levon, your boy Levon with JP Arts and Crafts, and I've got this cool little thing I made out of homemade clay from the anime Naruto. Naruto, Naruto. Alright, you guys know what it is. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do, and I made this out of paper clay. I do hope you guys go and you can find all kinds of different recipes for making your own paper clay on YouTube. So go search it and you can find it real easily. I don't really need to make one for you guys. There's plenty of really good ones out there. I may make it one day for you, but just go check it out. Be still, camera. Okay, so go check them out. You can find an awesome different recipes. There's different ways to make it, and you can just find which one suits you and then make that recipe. Give it a try. They're real easy, real cheap, and you can make kind of cool things with it. Now, after I made it, I did let it dry. I did form this on. I have a piece of plastic that was kind of round like a bowl, but perfectly just where I wanted it for my head, and so I just kind of put it around that and weighted it down some and let it dry there to kind of get that shape. But paper clay is still a little flexible, so you can still kind of move it even after it's dried without it breaking. At least this paper clay recipe is. But I know you can buy paper clay also on Amazon. So what we're doing here with this, guys, is just coating it with acrylic wall paint. It's just 100% gloss acrylic. You don't have to use a gloss. You can use a matte. The idea is just that it just helps the spray paint not to soak into, or your brush paint, any paint you have, to soak into the paper clay afterwards, because this is going to dry on it. It's going to kind of soak out. It's going to dry, but it's just a little barrier to help keep it from collecting any more moisture than you need it to collect. Being that this is actually going to be a headband like it is from the anime, I didn't want it to be if you put the headband on, if you were doing any activities and you happen to get a little sweaty or something, we all perspirate, guys, don't freak out. But I didn't want it to get into it and ruin it. And come on, perspirate gets into it. We don't need our headband starting to be ruined from stink or something, guys, right? So just get in here with the acrylic, find all the little nooks and crannies, paint in there. It doesn't have to be super perfect. We're actually going to sand this down a little bit real lightly to get out any little ridges and bumps, and just try to get it to make it look like a piece of metal. Because I mean, that's kind of what it looks like on the anime to me, just a little piece of metal that they made for it. I think it's forged for a reason or something. I don't know. I didn't watch the cartoon all the way through. Um, I do need to go do that because it does look actually really cool. But I just really like this headband, so I thought it would be pretty cool to make it. So just get in here, paint it up, and then when you're got it pretty painted, pretty good, let it dry. Give it another coat because we are going to sand it lightly, and typically you're going to sand off the a layer, basically, in most parts. So give it two, maybe three coats, light coats of this paint. Um, but guys, this it's a fun little project. You don't have to make this headband, the Naruto headband. So you guys can make like Pokemon or something if you want, or My Little Pony or something for a girl or whatever. But alright, guys, this is dry, and I did all the coats we have. So I did 3 coats on this. Now I'm going to sand it with 220, and then sand it with 500 grit, and you guys can stop there. That's really plenty, but I like overkill, so 1000, and then just to be really unnecessary, 1200. It's just really fine, and I think it would help make it look a little smoother, like metal when it's done. But I'm also going to sand it down a little more after it's done being painted and dried, just to kind of smooth it up a little more. So just lightly sand it. We're not looking to sand too hard. You don't want to get all the way back down to the paper clay, guys. Just sand it around everywhere really good. Get in between the little bumps on the end there. Darn it, what are you going to call them? Screw bolts, something. Man, the word is escaping me here, and I keep hitting this camera. Be still, camera. So, but just getting it around everywhere, guys. So like I was saying, you don't have to make this exact headband, even though I'm telling you this is a pretty cool headband. You can make, Pokemon or something like that, whatever you want. Put the symbol for fire on there, or the water, grass, or whatever your favorite type of Pokemon is, or something. You can do that. You can make headbands from any other show or something, cartoon that you actually like. You can just make like a George Jetson one if you're old school and you like that kind of thing, guys. Whatever you want to do. So here now we're going on the 500. I don't spend too long sanding the things. It comes off pretty lightly. I mean, it's just acrylic paint. It will sand down pretty quick. So you do have to be, once again, I will say you have to be careful. It looks like I'm pushing really hard here, but I'm just doing it real lightly and just real quick and just going over it. Try not to sand off too much. Just remember, guys, that if you did sand off too much and you're worried about it, just go back through, paint it again, let it dry, and start again. And there we go. If you sand it off so much that you actually have like a big hole through your project, then you might need to stop pushing that hard, because then you might have to remake the entire thing again. You shouldn't be sanding that hard. But guys, there we go. I did 220 and 500, and then we wipe it off and get it all dust free. I don't need any of that dust sitting underneath for the spray paint. Now for this, I am going to spray paint it with the silver spray paint. It just goes on smooth. But here we go, wipe it off again. There's a better little towel to wipe it off. We get all the dust out of it. How I made the symbol in the middle, guys, is actually I used a Dremel for that after it was done, and then I made it in there. But you can do that beforehand with like a toothpick or something like that, a knife, and just kind of carve out the symbol, and then when it dries, there it is. But alright, guys, so we're going to paint this. Let me get my paint, find it over here somewhere. Now, I usually go with Rust-Oleum. If you watch my videos, I typically use Rust-Oleum. Not a plug or anything. They don't sponsor me. That would be cool if they did. So you hear that, Rust-Oleum? Remember, you can sponsor me maybe one day if I get big enough. I don't know. But they didn't have any silver Rust-Oleum, so I went with this Krylon one. Plus Rust-Oleum, I'm sorry, 35% more. Yeah. All right. So, but no, with this one here, the Krylon, I'm actually happy with that. It dries a little faster than Rust-Oleum. It's a little thinner, so it does dry a little faster. But I think that would make it not soak in and re-wet any of the other paint or anything and ruin this. But anyways, like I said, it's the only one they had on the shelf, so I went with it. And the cap wasn't even the greatest cap. I actually have a leftover cap from another one, so I'm going with that. But make sure you shake your cans up really well. Guys, if you don't like spray paint, you can do this whole project with just acrylic paint. Okay? I'm going to paint the back of it first, since the way it sits, I can dry without touching the board too much. And this dries pretty quick, so I just throw it on there. It's really not as heavy as it looks. And there, guys, you can kind of see the cracks in the paper clay itself from where it dried and bent from being bent. And this is just homemade paper clay, but it dries pretty well. So we'll carefully turn this over, and then we will repeat. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give it this coat, and then that will be it for what you guys see. I will go on to doing another coat on it, but you guys won't see that there, because we're going to sand this again with some higher grit, 1000, 1200, and you do need another extra layer just to sand it down, and we're going to get it looking smooth like metal. Okay, so let it dry, then give it a second coat. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, guys, so I let it dry, I gave it a second coat, and it is, there's a spot here. Oop. Well, what have I done? Alright, well, there's a spot there. We'll go ahead and just give it another coat. So we'll just give it a third coat back there. And we'll retouch this up just in case I scratch anything up there doing that. So a third coat. We're going to do 3 coats on this one then, which that doesn't hurt any. Just fill in the scratches that it might have got falling over. Alright, so we'll let it dry, and then we will be back to give it a nice light sanding at 1000 grit. and 1200 grit. So 1200 and 1000. Real lightly, we just go 1000. That gets it started, and then 1200 to scratch out those thicker lines from the 1000. It'll give it a smoother metal look, guys. Alright, so there, it's sanded down. You see it just kind of looks pretty close to metal. I mean, pretty close for spray paint. Now, what I'm doing here with this black paint is I'm making a dirt wash, or at least that's what I call it. I think I've heard a couple of artists use that. The idea is just to get this real thin black, something dark paint, and then wipe it on and lightly wipe it off, and it should stay in all the little crevices where you couldn't wipe it off from. And it just makes it look a little more worn. It fills in the spots, makes it look dirty like it's been used and things like that, and just makes it look a little more realistic. I'm using the cheap acrylic paint, so ratios for this actually would be, if you're using a more expensive acrylic paint, something a bit thicker than the real cheap ones, then you'd probably want to go like 50-50. The cheap ones here from like Walmart, you can actually, I think they're like 50 cents a little bottle. You can do probably 2 paint to 1 water ratio and get away with it just fine. Here I did 50-50 though, and you can see it's pretty runny. And another way around that, if you made it too runny, add a little more paint. If you don't want to add a little more paint, then leave it on there for a second. Give it a moment to evaporate a little bit, and then go over it. Now here I actually wiped off too much on the inside. The darkness of the symbol on the inside disappeared. So just go over it again and just keep doing it until you find the look you're going for, and then lightly wipe it off. Now since I made this video, I realized that what I used to do was actually just use a paper towel, and a paper towel works just a little better, something a little thinner. The thick bristles on the towel actually gets down in there as you're wiping it across, and that's why it wipes it out. So keep that in mind. I don't really need to do the back or anything because it's going to be glued to it. So there it is. It's done. We're going to let it dry. Okay, guys. So now that it's dry, here we are. Looks pretty good. I put 1 light coating of this acrylic enamel on it already. Just real light. You got to be careful with this because of some of the other paints, like the brush acrylic paint. This enamel paint can cause cracking and things like that. So real light, and just light misting, and then let it dry for a few minutes, and then apply the other one. You don't have to let it dry fully, just let it dry for a few minutes and apply a second coat to it. And then we're going to let that dry. Alright guys, so we let it dry and we glued it to our headband. I meant to show you the headband before I did this part, but I did not hit the record button properly. My apologies, guys. So these headbands are from like Walmart, dollar store, anywhere like that. They're just the thick, wide headbands you use to keep your hair back on your head. You can find them over in the hairband brush section stuff at Walmart, and they work really well. You get like 3 or 4 of them for just a few dollars, and you can make some cool little headbands with that. And I was searching real well for a black one. All of them were like blue and green and crazy things, but I think it comes out real well. I glued it on here with hot glue. I would use hot glue or like super glue or something like that. And just when you do it, make sure you glue it on to the thing while it's on something. When it's bent like this, it's on it. It's just made it a lot easier, guys. So I do hope that this project was a little inspiring for you. Yeah, definitely glue up around the edges. But there it is, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope it inspired you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the like button for me. I really appreciate it. Help us get big. And remember to share the video with your friends, guys. You guys are awesome. Remember, keep creating. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment to say thank you very much for all your support. Guys, we are a small channel and we don't make the money to advertise on YouTube. They take a lot of money to do these advertisements that a lot of these other bigger channels can do and can afford, getting paid by YouTube and stuff like that. We don't get paid by YouTube, so we count on you guys to help share and support the channel. Again, by sharing the videos, it does help us. That's advertising right there. So every time you share the video, that helps out a lot. So if you share it to your Facebook, share it to any other sites you might be a part of. Be sure to tag friends in it as well, so that way they do check it out and see it, because if they end up liking it, they may feel like sharing it as well, and it just keeps that ball rolling, guys. So it does help out a lot. I hope I'm not putting too much pressure on you guys to help out. I appreciate you guys just clicking and watching the video. It means a lot and it helps out a lot. But if you guys can take the moment to go that slight extra step for me and just click the share button and share it, it does help out a lot, guys. So until we can get big enough that I can start paying for the advertising and everything, it will mean a lot. I do appreciate every single click, every like, guys, every comment, and every one of you subscribers. You guys are amazing. I appreciate all your support, and I hope I can keep inspiring you, and I hope that you keep inspiring me with each one of your comments and views, guys. Thank you once again very much, and remember, guys, always remember, keep creating. Life is about creating. Have fun, enjoy life, create something, and just smile, guys. We'll see you in the next video, guys. Just paint something.